Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Tavis Smiley. Tonight, a first-hand account of the tragedy in New Orleans from a young filmmaker who escaped the horror of his hometown and made his way here to Los Angeles. Along with his wife and his cat, they're now coming to grips with the haunting realization that life in the city of New Orleans may never be the same. Tonight, a conversation with filmmaker and New Orleans native, Royce Osborne.
And for 4 days after the storm, we did relatively well. We had, plenty of food. The hotel took care of us. We were, there was no electricity or water. We were carrying buckets of water up to the 7th floor to try to flush our toilets. But the conditions were relatively good. But we couldn't get any information on what was going on outside of the city. Everything was shut down. So on Thursday, the hotel said they were going to provide buses to get everybody out. And they sent us out of the hotel to go and catch the buses. And we walked out into the water, and walking into that water was something we never ever wanted to do. It was just looked like a toxic soup that you did not want to step in. And on the ground was glass and metal and boards with nails sticking out of that, you just couldn't see what you were stepping in. And even a curb, if you caught the curb the wrong way, you could, we just thought that even a broken ankle could be fatal. But we got out, we took a cat carrier. My wife held the cat carrier on her head, and I had a big old duffel bag and my video camera around my neck, and we started walking. And we got to Canal Street, walked down Canal and to Camp Street, and headed up Camp Street, where we were seeing police cars and military vehicles passing, but nobody would stop or give us any information. At one point, an officer, a guardsman, I think, jumped out of a vehicle and pointed a gun right in my face and said, "Move it, move it." As if, that's all we were trying to do is move it out of the area, but I didn't try to, explain. I had a, video camera around my neck, and I didn't want him to mistake that for anything threatening. So we just kept moving and finally got to the spot where the buses were supposed to be, and waited with about 100 other people, and no buses came.
So how'd you get out of the Superdome?
We left. We said this is not an option. We left the Superdome and we're headed back to the hotel. We thought if we can't get in the hotel, we'll spend the night in our cars in the parking garage, and hope the marauding gangs don't come in there, because we were hearing about drive-by shootings and rapes and other things going on in the city. We didn't know what to expect. So we headed back to the hotel, back into the water. Just as we got to a corner, an SUV came up, and inside was a bellman from the hotel riding with a National Guardsman. And he said, "Stop, those are my people." And he told the Guardsman, "Look, you have to get them on a bus." And there were buses then streaming into the city, going to the Superdome. And the Guardsman said, "Go toward that street and stop the last bus that comes through." I said, "Why stop the last bus? Let's stop the first bus."
This sounds like a setup, huh? Why stop the last bus?
Let's go first.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm going to radio the last bus stop," and, we got in the middle of the street and stopped the bus, and the driver said, "I can't pick up people here. You have to go to the Dome." And, this officer drove around and said, "Look, I'm in charge. Get these people on the bus." And the driver, a sweet man named Earl from Texas, just let us in, didn't look the other way when we brought on the cat carriers, and we got in that bus and sat on the back of the bus, and we're so grateful to be on it. We didn't move. The bus went around to the Superdome then to pick up people, and we were afraid that somebody would get on and say, "Hey, you people aren't supposed to be here. You have to get on the back of the line." An officer looked in and he said, "How many you got?" He said, 9. And he said, "Okay, load on 36 more." And a bunch of women and children got on the bus, and we went to Houston.
The Astrodome?
We got to the Astrodome, and our group was, we were lucky, we were resourceful. We had cash, we had credit cards. We were not going to stay in the shelter. It was just not something we wanted to do. We told the driver, "Look, we want to just get out here, and we'll try to get to a motel." And as we were leaving the Dome, going toward the gates, and these wonderful girls came up to us and said, "We have cars, and we'll take you anywhere you want to go. If you don't..." It was finally seeing somebody who was there to help us.
Yeah.
And they said, if you have no place to go, we'll take you to our house. We'll take care of you.